Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. I was just meditating on what it is I want to talk about, and I think uh, this one is going to be more about your symptoms and just tuning into them more, because a lot of people, I find they don't quite understand what their symptoms are there for. They think they need to take something to make it go away and suppress it, and sometimes even not suppressing it, but like wanting it to go away fast, and it's like an irritation, and it could be any kind of symptom, any kind of even disease state. And what you need to understand is that coming to a state of inner peace and understanding, because our bodies are very intelligent, and it's not that something is wrong necessarily. Like, it's a signal. It is a signal when you have a symptom or a disease state, but it doesn't mean that you need to panic or fight, because like fight as in, try to take things to make it go away, because the body is in a state of constant trying to rebalance itself. So it's very intelligent. When a symptom shows up, the body's trying to reestablish homeostasis, and it may not sound or seem that obvious, but usually that is what is happening. And I can give my own example, because I've been very patient with a particular symptom that, I don't really have that many obvious physical things going on, except this eczema on the back of my neck, which I've probably mentioned in other videos. And what's happened is, like, I'll do a healing on it and I'll get this message, okay, it'll be gone in 4 days. And then it'll dissipate. And it's like I've misunderstood what gone means, because it's what happens is it dissipates and then it changes a little bit, and then it kind of gets worse, but in a different way. So the way I'm interpreting this is layers of symptoms. Like, yes, okay, so yes, I understand it could be a nutritional deficiency, it could be an allergy, an intolerance. I'm very aware of all those things, but I'm also very aware of the fact that it gets itchier when I'm irritated or angry. So, like, I don't really attribute it only to a nutritional thing. And to be quite honest, there are people who know that when you try to take supplements, it doesn't always work to cure a symptom. It doesn't. It can. It definitely can, because a lot of us are completely deficient. But it's also important to know that you need to address all factors, right? So with the eczema, for example, like, I've had experiences where, like the recent one, where I decided fully that I'm deciding not to be attached to having a relationship. So, hi. How are you? I'm good. How are you? Good, good.
Beautiful morning.
Oh yeah. Enjoy your day.
You got your jacket off.
Oh yeah, finally, no t-shirt weather. You too. Okay. I didn't want to stop my video. He's a nice man. Okay. So, yes. Okay. So I've uncovered different layers of this eczema on the back of my neck. And basically, what's happening is it's changing every single time I uncover a layer. So I've had patients come and they've, had miraculous results with skin issues after one session with me. And then after, like, maybe they come back, and the third time they come back, they're like, oh, it got worse again. The way I see it, there's multiple reasons. One, it's because there are layers of healing that need to happen, and we unblocked a huge one. That's why the skin issue like almost dissipated completely. And then the other reason would be like, well, the way I see it is external stress, which triggers the initial stress that we need to keep clearing. And it's okay. I also see it as a signal. Like the body is communicating with you every single time a symptom gets worse. But I have seen symptoms completely eradicated and then they don't come back at all. But that is like a complete healing. And if it ever did come back, then I would say that that would just be a sign, like, and a clear one too. Like you very much need to listen to the symptoms, okay? So yes, for the eczema now, it changes every single time. I feel like there's mosquitoes on me, sorry. And they are on me. Okay, gotta bring out those essential oils. So it changes on me every time. So right now, like 8 years ago, it started as a little tiny patch and it spread, and then like in the recent year it felt like it's going into my scalp. At this moment right now, it seems to be like dividing, and it's like the center is more clear and like the edges of it are more rough. It's like, I don't know if it's just going to the edges and then it's going to clear out. My hope is that it feels that way actually. And I do put things on it, but it's mainly because if I don't, it just gets really, really dry. So it's not a bad thing to nurse your symptoms and do things like that, but you really still need to get to the root of it, right? Yeah. So, sorry for that. I had to pause my video. When I observe the symptom itself, so it's changing, and when I get impatient with it and I start wanting it to go away, what happens is like I'll do something like I'll put some creams, or not, like all natural, and it'll get a little bit better. But because I haven't addressed yet the root of it, it'll just come back like crazy, right? So this is like using natural creams is almost like suppressing it. So coming back to a place of self-love, which I potentially maybe have never felt in this life yet, but because when I did the YouTube video, and yes, it's not a typical, sorry, I keep swatting mosquitoes off me, it's like bothering me. Okay, love to all the mosquitoes. Hopefully they don't bother me if I love them, and usually they don't. So that released a layer. 100% released a layer, and my inner power like is so strong right now that like it's hard to explain. But people who I will, okay, so you might want to, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the one on Selflove. It's the one from like last week or a week before that. And basically what's happening is, like, even though the person who I spoke mainly about in that video is still trying to make contact, like I'm just like, this is irrelevant now. Like, it makes no sense. Whereas in the past, the part of me that wanted or needed love or needed attention or was hopeful was blinded. And even if something was very unhealthy for me, I would sacrifice myself to be with the wrong person, right? So the biggest change right now is that, and I am watching the eczema change with it in a very specific way. Like, it's clearing from the center and rough on the edges. It's interesting. So I'm just giving you this example because some people don't really understand, and they get frustrated when their symptoms get worse and then get better and then get worse. And it's usually not associated with what you're eating. It's just random. Or you do see the stress. and then it gets worse. So that stress is triggering your body, right, to respond. So for me, it's a little bit of everything. It's like the stress of any kind can trigger, but I have noticed this thing on the back of my neck has been extremely bad when I've been in particular kinds of relationships. Okay? And I know this because I remember my hand being smacked many times, scratched in the back of my neck, in the presence of these people. Okay? And when I'm alone, it's not as itchy. So I'm not saying like it's their fault and that I can never be in a, well, I don't know if I can ever be in a relationship if I'm in this place. At least it's not the right time. But if I choose to be, it'll end up quite possibly being the wrong time. And very likely it'll be with the wrong person. And then it'll probably amplify my symptoms. I have spider webs all over me right now. Holy crap. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? Your symptoms eventually go away. Disease states can be reversed, but you need, to learn the lesson. You need to learn. You need to understand it. You need to watch it. You need to even like make notes of when your symptom gets worse, when it gets better. It's all energy. It's not a mistake to have it. Like, our bodies are pure energy. It's not only about taking supplements and making things go away. That's only a part of it. And when you take supplements to make things go away, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take supplements to bring the body back into balance so the body can now overcome the symptom. And sometimes that's all you need, if it's truly a serious nutritional deficiency. But if the nutritional deficiency is because you can't absorb your nutrients, that's a whole other issue. That's usually, that could be connected to a deep emotional thing where you won't absorb nutrients because you're unworthy. That's just an example. That's very general. Or you're completely inflamed in your body because of poor food choices in the past, because of stress, or because of, again, an unresolved emotional issue. Or you may physically just not be eating properly, but why? Emotional, spiritual, addictions, right? So it all, for me, this may be my opinion, but if you start to see, it's all coming back to emotions, right? And the other part of it is our food supply. Whatever is being grown these days is not as dense in nutrients. That is a whole other issue. And that's why a lot of people do require supplements, because it could be even a combination of inability to absorb due to all the various things I just said, and the fact that our food just doesn't have enough nutrients. The soils are not as nutrient dense, so consider everything, but do not deny the fact that your body is really talking to you and trying to tell you something, and the symptoms will come and go, get worse, get better. But what you want to see is like a decline. You want to see something like this. So worse, better, worse, better, worse, better, until it's zero. So it'll just wave up and down until it becomes zero. And that's how my skin is going right now. Okay? And I do know it's going to go away. I 100% know it's going to go away when I get all my lessons. And when I start taking even better care of myself. Because I will admit that I'm not always completely conscious of the food choices I make, the most dense nutrient food choices. And that definitely will be part of it. and that's emotional, right? So fully loving oneself is everything, not just, you know, being able to be confident alone and being okay in your own presence, but it's also like, are you taking care of yourself physically? Are you exercising? Are you eating the right foods? Are you nurturing yourself? So for me, the back of my neck has a lot to do with self-love and attachments to external people and things to keep me happy and fulfilled. So those attachments are actually being released in a big way right now. Okay, so thank you for joining me, and I will be back soon. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Be awesome. Thank you. Have a great day.